All right, here we go. Alrighty, folks, we're here. We made it. Hey,
We're
back.
this is always my moment of truth is that I get everything set up right. It's like I look and see
I
when the
sound like a
little
robot.
green thing. Yeah, I hear Jake. I hear Sabrina. The little green thing moves. All right, folks. If you can hear us, we're ready to go. So welcome everybody to episode 45. We're 5 away from 50. Still don't know what we're going to do for it, but maybe I do. I don't know. So welcome everybody. Thank you for joining us. We have some cool stuff to talk about tonight. We have some not so cool stuff because stuff happens, but we're going to talk about it, right? So what I want to do is to say welcome again, everybody. And if you are first time joining us, I ask if you please, before we do anything else, man, just like click that follow button and that subscribe button. Well, no, you don't have to subscribe, right? I say this all the time. I forget. I don't do anything with any money that comes, and I don't even know if we get any. So that's on you. So don't waste it, is what I'm saying. So tonight, episode 45, the Beatles song came in my mind today for what we're doing. We can sing it if you all want. We can do it together. You say goodbye. I say hello. Hello, hello, hello. Come on.
I don't think anybody wants to hear us sing.
No.
Do they not? Okay. I sure.
Probably not. And if we're going to sing on the show, it should probably be a Disney song.
Ooh, you're right.
Fair enough. Fair enough.
Karaoke's for episode 50.
Yeah, right. Well, episode
Disney
50.
karaoke.
Yeah, episode 50. That's what we should do. We do karaoke for episode 50. We could do karaoke on some of our favorite songs in the game.
I like it. I'm here for it.
I will let you. Everybody else is like, yeah, we'll skip that episode. All right. All right. So tonight, what we want to talk about, what we'll get to in a moment, is we want to look at so it's that time, right? There's a new meta because of rotation. I want to talk briefly about why we should have rotation, and then what we want to look at is some of the cards that are leaving that are going to cause the meta to change because of their absence. And then some of the cards that already exist, not the new cards from Attack of the Vine. We'll have a moment with that when that time comes, when we start doing our take on that set. But we're looking at some of the cards that already exist in sets 9 through 12. That's Fabled, Wilds Unknown, Winter Spell, and Whispers in the Well. Yep, there we go. Those 4 sets. And cards that just kind of maybe because of some of these cards that are rotating out haven't had their moment to shine yet, but now they get a chance to. So we're going to talk about those as well for you. But first, one of the things that we want to talk about is we had a DLC in Brazil, and there's a lot of chatter going around on Facebook about judge interactions. And I won't name drop anybody, but I think everybody kind of, if you're part of any of the Facebook pages or Discord chats or, Instagrams or whoever else is joining.
If you follow anybody Disney Lorcana related on any social media platform.
There you go.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Then you've heard of it.
So I'm not going to talk about people's actions or our interpretations of their actions or their motives behind their actions. But one thing that I would like to address is calling a judge when you're at an event, not just a DLC, but any event that has judges. Why does a judge exist at the event? When should you call a judge? And how should you call a judge, right? So I can speak this because I am a lore guide at the DLCs, and I do kind of, do that locally as well. Sabrina, of course, if you listen to anything she said on the podcast, she's like, we just don't know how to talk to judges. If there's one thing she's been adamant about, it is that. So do you want to be adamant about it now, just to back it up? So,
it's hard to I think there's like, for me, there's actually a bigger point to it, which is that like, if you know me personally, and I would say even more so if you know me professionally, which nobody listening to this does, but for the sake of the conversation, communication is such a fundamental thing for me. Like when I'm a manager and when I get new hires on my team, one of the first things I tell them is, I will do anything in my power to help you, but you have to communicate that need to me for me to be able to assist. And I think that that like extends well beyond personal and professional. When you're playing the game, like the judges are there as a resource to help facilitate the game. Make sure that the game is played accurately, fairly, with good sportsmanship, etc., etc. We should be calling them. The problem is that a lot of players don't know how to, don't know the standards, don't know what's acceptable. And I think that that discourse is running wild right now with how this particular call started. I think fundamentally, the fact that one of the players wanted to speak to the judge away from the table is starting a lot of conversation.
Yeah. So let me kind of reiterate something that Sabrina said. The judge is a resource. You should view the judge just like you view your deck. We're as an integral part of your match as your deck is, because we provide that safety net for you when you have questions about game rules, about things that have taken place in the game, your behaviors, your opponent's behaviors, the behaviors of those around you, even. You know, if somebody's distracting around you, you could call a judge. In other words, if you are unable to continue in a game of Lorcana because of your failure to understand a rule at the time, or an action, or because you are in an environment that is not conducive to you to continue, you may ask to speak with a judge and ask for their assistance. You may or may not get it, okay? But you have the judge as a resource to be able to assist you with that. Whether it's, hey, can you answer this question about a rule exchange? Now, a judge cannot tell you what to do as far as play the game. I can't do that. We can't do that. Just know that. Can't tell you what decision to make. I can explain the rules. I can explain procedure. I can clarify procedures. I can investigate your actions and your opponent's actions. So when you call a judge, the first thing that you need to know how to do is how to do it. Just raise your hand and yell judge, right? Don't even think about it. Just do it. And I've had times when folks have called judges, and then when I get over there, they go, no, I'm sorry. I'm okay now. That's okay. It's acceptable to me. I'm okay with that. You know, but just raise your hand. Don't even think about it. Yell judge. Then when we get over there, let the judge talk to you first. You know, because I know for me, I'm not saying every judge does this. I'm going to say, how can I help you? Now you have the opportunity to tell me. Don't just bomb the judge when they get up there, because judges are going to end up backing up sometimes and even get defensive, because sometimes your emotion can make the judge, who is a person, feel attacked as well too. So a lot of times I'll initiate it before that person even does that, because it's disarming, right? So, you know, just let the judge speak first. You know, some of them may not. So you go, okay, it gives you time while you're waiting for them to speak. Maybe you're taking a breath and going, okay, here's what happened. Here's what I need to know.
Yeah, like calm yourself down so that you can articulate it clearly and factually without the emotion behind it.
Right. And as judges, one of the things that whenever we did our first judge exam back when I got hired for Toronto, they asked these questions in scenario to see if you would make an emotional decision, you know, and the good judges and most other judges had learned that we're there to enforce rules, not to placate emotions, right? And so I'm sorry if I come across as a robot that way, but this is the way we have to be and handle things. That doesn't mean you can't have emotion. You're in a stressful game, but just know the judges should not and usually do not. So when you try to inject emotion into a situation that you don't understand as an outsider looking on a judge call from somebody else, I think you might want to back up and assess whether or not the judge is really. A lot of times I see some of these explanations on how judges handle calls, and people automatically assume that the judge is exerting the same emotion as the people presenting the case, and for the most part, that's just not the case. So,
I'm sorry, I'm not laughing
And
at you.
I'm laughing at that as well too.
Rue's comment in the chat just sent me.
Me.
yeah. Oh gosh.
I will
My man.
go
my
back to
man.
this, what Chex was saying about abusing a lore guide should be reviewed and treated simply as a game infraction. I agree in certain instances, but I don't know, like, there's a very fine line between someone abusing a lore guide and someone actually trying to use one. And I think even in the situation with Zan, people were thinking that he may be like abusing it to try to get like an angle in certain situations, but I think that like in that situation, they did have an extra card, so he was trying to simply just get information about that. But
I also think that like if we're so there's a fine line here because well, again, actually, to start, the whole determination with cheating is intent. So the judge would then have to determine the intent behind why they're being called. And like we as a judge program, I assume they would have to have or lore guide program, sorry, some sort of standard as to what abuse count, like what does abuse look like? At what point is it abuse? And if an opponent who, for example, I played in a store champ once where the same player misplayed the same card like 4 times. So their one opponent had to call a judge several times because the card was played incorrectly. It was Sale, by the way. I could tell you exactly what card it was.
and that has to do with
Is it
drawing a card too.
abusing? Is it abusing the judge because their opponent had to call the judge 4 times? No, the card was played incorrectly. But what if one time it wasn't played incorrectly? That still isn't necessarily abusing the judge. So I think there's like a lot of nuance to that conversation.
Yeah, and I think that there are people who are in that boat where they're afraid to call a judge just because of the backlash that certain people give, where you have to scream loud in a large group of people, so like it's maybe a little intimidating in that factor, but then also like oh that guy did something wrong, like look at that guy.
Yeah.
But I don't think that that's what it is. I think that is something that people should not look at as a bad thing, and definitely use it as like as Sabrina said, like a tool in the game and be able to help you out.
I also think something that we don't talk about enough when it comes to judge calls is like you can call the judge on yourself.
You've had to.
Stop it.
I mean, it's the truth. I mean, sometimes it happens, but again, I think it's better to call it on yourself than to then realize it too late down your opponent to realize it too late, like thinking, oh, maybe I could just get away with it or something like that, and then they realize, and then it's too far to recover. Like it's just
to
better.
air myself out. Historically, I have a tendency of like once per DLC, accidentally double drawing. Like my cards will get stuck together, or I accidentally double draw,
or you flip it over.
And I call a judge on myself every single time. I will tell my opponent I did it, and I will call the judge. And I said to Jake on the bus on the way to Indianapolis, I said, my goal for this tournament is just to not double draw and not have to call a judge on myself. And success.
Good.
Nice. Good job. I have a question in chat. I go back up a couple from Super Weeb God. Something I've been really, I'm reading the chat message. One of these days, I got to learn how to technically display these chats on the screen, right? Other streams can do it. Why can't we, right? So it's technically challenged amongst us. Something I've been really wondering about is what happens if you miss a mandatory trigger and it does affect the status of the game. It happened to me the other day, and I genuinely didn't know what to do, so I left it because my opponent moved fast and shuffled their deck. If a mandatory trigger is missed, you raise your hand and you call a judge. You tell your opponent, hey, can we stop for a minute? I believe we missed a mandatory trigger. I'd like to get a judge over here to look at the situation. Now, the reason you tell that to your opponent is, in your case, you don't want cards being scooped up too fast. Because you may have to you're going to have to recreate that the board setup, right? So as soon as you realize it, that's what you need to do. Now, if the game's already over and you guys have packed up, ship's probably sailed by that point, to be honest with you. But if you're still there, you say, "Oh, wait a minute. I believe my wreck should have survived," or whatever. So when you call the judge, you explain to the judge exactly where you were, what happened, and why you believe you missed the mandatory trigger. You show it. What the judge can do, especially if it's something like that, we're going to rewind the game back to the state of right where that challenge occurred or whatever, and make sure the damage is assessed properly and the proper characters are banished. So that's something that we can do as judges. We restore the game state so that it is in its proper state, and then you go from there. So that's what you do. Just call a judge. Now locally, you should have judges for that. If it's the store owner, good luck. It just is what it is, right? That's why it's important to have local judges at some of the things like our set champs and stuff like that that can handle these situations. So
I do think that you touched on something important there that we hadn't really touched on earlier, which is it's okay to tell your opponent to just pause. I'm going to call a judge.
Yeah.
Because you don't want the board state getting more complicated, because the first thing when you call a judge, in my experience, one of the first things they do when they come over is look at the board and assess the board state and verify that this is what it looks like before we even get into things, because then they're going to have to backtrack or try to recreate things. So the less you touch the problem, the less mess you create to have to be undone.
Yeah. And I would encourage you to let the judge rewind the game. Don't try to work it out with your opponent.
For sure. My point was just to say, it's okay to say, can we pause? I'm going to call a judge.
Yep. Anyways, so a couple things also with judges too. I just wanted to touch on before we move on to kind of like the other stuff today. Is each judge is unique in the way that they investigate situations. Some have skills that are better than others. It doesn't make them a better judge. It just means it may be more experienced. And, for me, as I was talking to my podcast mates before the show, I know how to do an investigation, not because I'm experienced at being a judge, but because in real life, it is my job. It was my job at one point to do that with juvenile delinquents. And, I've learned how to ask questions. I've learned how to interview. I've learned how to ascertain when someone is being inconsistent. One thing in all of these years I have not learned how to do, and anybody who tells you they can do otherwise is wrong, is determine intent. They can assume intent based on rules. And I know some of my fellow judges may argue with me on that, but nobody can see into a person's heart. It just can't. So that whole argument,
at the end of the day.
Yeah, it's a judgment call. It is. Hence, we're judges. We're making judgment calls. We can ascertain and surmise what your intent may be based on information we've received, but I cannot tell you for certain what that person's intent is. I cannot see into their heart and mind. I don't know. Unless they tell me otherwise. And even then, I have to believe that they're telling me the truth. And, so just understand that that's what's happening, right? And for all of you folks out there who know that a judge call is handled wrong and it's imperfect, please go take the test. Please go work these events as a judge. We need your experience, okay? We need your expertise there and not trolling the boards with it. So maybe we don't. I don't know. I just say if you're going Monday morning quarterback something you don't understand, it's just I'm just telling you, come be a judge. That's all I ask. Come be a judge. Help us out. So, and I mean that.
Rue brings up another good point that, Jake can tell you from playing with me personally, I am a fanatic about, which is you should always be writing your lore. Because if there's a lore discrepancy and one of you's writing it and one of you is not, the one with the notepad that can go back and say, well, I gained 2 on this turn because I quested with blah, 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 is gonna win.
I agree.
Sometimes,
Mm.
not all the time. Sometimes.
90% of the time, the one that's writing it down.
If it's
If
truth,
one of you is
obviously.
writing it and one of you isn't, it's way easier to rewind with the one that's writing it.
Yes, and you can be like, I gained it here because of this, and then I mean,
I had an opponent over the weekend try to tell me that I had the wrong lore, and I was like, no, I don't. I was like, I
You're-
quested with XYZ, and he was like, oh, I forgot.
Mm.
That's why I write it down.
Yeah.
I've noticed that a lot more recently because I think you can now
It's
use
gotten bad
you can use your
because so
phone.
many
You can
people are
use
just using.
different ways to track your lore as compared to just writing it down.
Yep.
I think it's good.
Chex makes a good comment. He says one thing I haven't seen in Lorcana is stalling past TCG. I couldn't get that out fast enough. Past TCGs I've played, players would always call judges nonstop for player stalling. So, you got to
kind of
call
feeds
it.
into the slow play conversation.
Yeah, you got to. If you see something the slow play, call a judge and say, "Hey, my opponent, judge, could you watch my opponent? They're kind of. I believe they're taking a long time to make decisions that should be faster." And we as judges, we walk around, we look for that. I know I do. And so, you can bring that to our attention, and we'll watch. They'll probably stop while we're there, but or maybe they won't. I don't know. So you can always ask. So it's okay. So what I would suggest is that you don't pressure your opponent to speed up. Just don't do that. Just call a judge. If the minute you believe your opponent's taking too much time, call a judge and plead your case. Ask for an extension. Ask for the judge to investigate. I don't know. You may or may not get any of that, but do not pressure your opponent, telling them to speed up, because I, as a judge, will take that as unsportsmanlike behavior on your part. They just ask a judge. That's why we're there, is to deal with that and enforce that, not you. That you're a player, not a judge. You don't get to pass judgment on your opponent like that. So you can't penalize them anyways. So, call judges on people who get a bye, play 2 games and get top 4. What? Oh, Chex, just be quiet. All right. So, okay. So anyways,
a lot of bickering in the comment section tonight.
Yeah, we've digressed there. Okay. All right. Okay. All right. So enough of that. Let's move on. Right. If you have any comments or anything you want to say about that, leave them in our discussion when we on the YouTube video, and I'll be happy to respond. If you see me at DLCs, they come up, tell me, hey, I heard what you said on podcast. I don't like it. I'm okay with that. So come see me.
Catch me outside. How about that? No, I'm kidding.
Yeah.
No,
I'm kidding. No, we're not going outside.
No. It reminds. I got to tell you guys this. So in Milwaukee, there was somebody before we went to Milwaukee in the Discord for Bass Tom. Somebody was doing something inappropriate in Discord, and I kind of stepped in and said, "Hey, you probably should do this or whatever." And they just started lashing out at me, and I was being genuine, and I said, "Hey, when you get to Milwaukee, come see me." And I said, lunch is on me. He just completely slipped my mind that that's a euphemism for, like, I'll give you a knuckle sandwich or something like that. I genuinely was offering to be nice to take this person to lunch because I felt like they just needed a friend, right? And I was being nice and being genuine. Yeah, you got to be careful. So I admit that in all kindness. So, so you can't tell people to meet you outside, Sabrina. You just, don't do that. So, yeah, even if you mean it. All right. Okay. So tonight, what we want to look at is, let's talk about rotation and what rotation is, why we have it, and what's going on right now. Because the first rotation in Lorcana happened last year with the introduction of the Fabled set. Now, that rotation was slightly different than the one we're going now, because as you all recall, with the Fabled set, there was more than just an iconic Mickey and Minnie in it. I know nobody else knows what happened to it, but all the griping and moaning that happened at the time, now that's everybody's darling, that set is, right? Because of those iconics. But the reason people griped and moaned at that is I think there were only like 31 new cards in the whole set. The rest of the cards were reprinted, right? I don't remember the exact number, right? But anyways, a lot of the cards were reprinted because what Ravensburger was doing is they were creating cards that they thought should be staples in a core environment, and they were rotating out some previous sets. Now, at the time, they rotated out 4 sets because they wanted 8 to stay in the core. And so they kept 4 in and they added 1 to it, which was set 9. So they rotate every year. 4 new sets are made. So every year at rotation, the 4 oldest sets will rotate out of the format. Why do we do this? Well, it's really to keep the meta fresh, to give overpowered cards a chance to rotate out and to give other cards a chance to shine, to inspire new deck creations, new ideas, shake things up, right? And still have cards keep their relevance. Cards that rotate out get to go into the infinity format where they always have a chance to be relevant, though they may not be because of the existence of other cards. That's a topic for another day. And so, you have a format that's always the most recent sets. Now, this also gives new players a buy-in point where they don't have to go back a long time and kind of, they're new to the game. They only really got to go back a year and a half, 2 years maybe worth of cards. They don't have to go all the way back, and they have a format that's relevant. So, and your new sets always kind of introducing new cards that have more likely to be relevant in that format. So that's my take on why we have rotation. Anybody else? Why rotation? What does it mean to you guys?
Yeah, I mean, honestly, I think you summed it up pretty well.
Yeah,
I just like that it keeps the format fresh. I like that I don't have to constantly think about that one card that got printed in set 2 that everybody forgot about, but is now going to make my life a living nightmare.
I think my favorite part is the ability to have not better, but more interesting deck lists and have better more interesting cards be able to shine as compared to the same Elsa 5 drops and the same cards you're going to see in every single Amethyst deck.
I want to see if people like Chex can play with a card other than Tramp. All right. That's what I want to see. Right. Because that cat, and he's there, he can defend himself. I am not sat across from him where that card, he has not chained 2 tramps on me. And I felt like if I didn't like him so much, jumping up across the table and smacking him and getting myself DQ'd. So, so yeah, I just want to see it. I want to see if he can play something besides that. He's a good player with that deck. Let's see. You get a chance to prove yourself, buddy, because that day is here. Your crutch is being kicked out from under you. So, anyways, one of the things, and Rue, I like your comment. They can't make you like Infinity. I think one thing I'd like to do in a future episode, maybe after we do the reveal, is it says, what can we do to make Infinity fun or relevant or make us want to play it? I had some suggestions, and I actually dropped them in Coop's lap, while we were at DLC, and I got a raised eyebrow and additional questions from him, about it. So I hope maybe, what's that?
It's a start.
It's a start. They can take any idea I do and just do whatever they want. So, but anyways, so today what we want to look at is, I'm going to go ahead and flip the screen here. Our top 10 plus 1. See you later cards. These are the cards we're saying goodbye to that cannot leave fast enough. So before we get into the list, Sabrina, Jake and I'm going to give Sabrina a chance to respond first. We all chose some cards like we usually do with a list, and I just put them together and we have a list. It might be a top 10. It's pretty good. It's as loosey-goosey as a top 10 as we've ever done. There are going to be 11 cards in there ranked in somewhat of order. But Sabrina, why did you choose the cards that you chose for rotating out? What criteria did you use?
The ones that I picked for rotating out were, in my eyes, if you're building a deck in that color, that's an auto staple. So I was doing like the staples that are rotating out that are, in my opinion, going to fundamentally shake up deck building.
Okay. Jake, what about you?
I'd say the exact same thing, like cards that are the needs, 4-ofs in each deck, ones that you're going to miss. Okay.
My criteria was, I just got freaking tired of having the card played on me.
Yeah.
I just got tired of it.
Sometimes it's as simple as that.
So, yeah. So when it gets to my cards on the list, there'll be a lot of hate. So all right, let's go. Let's go. Now, you all may have your own list. Feel free to drop them in chat right now. These are the cards that cannot leave the format fast enough as far as we're concerned, whether it's to shake the meta up or because we're just freaking tired of seeing them. All right.
Mhm.
Number 11. I could never have chosen this card because I love this card, but somebody in our group did, and that's Go-Go Tamago.
Wasn't me. Wasn't
Yeah.
me.
So
was
that
me,
leaves
a
one
green
of
heart.
us. Jake, why this card? By the way, hold on. Before Jake begins, I'm going to ask my podcast mates. We're 30 minutes, and we got about 25 cards to go through. So let's try
I
to
got you.
move through them.
Keep it
Okay.
short.
I
Yep,
love aggro and being able to quest really fast and then have like just a few more lore to get, and then them taking out all your stuff and have a full board for like the characters and a bunch of damage counters on it. Just play go and you win. I love it.
Somebody
And I
somebody
Just
think
said
play it
funny.
and you win. It's that simple.
Yeah,
it's great.
somebody said funny that Jake picks a card I've always played. Me too. I played this
Yep.
card in my Chromicon deck, and
Yeah, I was about to say, if I
I'm not
was,
gonna put this card on my list. I hate that it's leaving. You know, I'd like for this card to hang around, to be honest with you. So
I mean, I love
okay,
it, but I think it's very
It's time.
powerful. And I think it's
yeah.
time for it to
Hey, it's a good
go.
card. It's a good
No,
card.
I love it.
I
Trust me, I know.
I
I
just
mean,
don't
these
hate it.
are. I think these are ones that not necessarily happy to see go, but
Okay,
they're the ones that are powerful.
okay. Next one. This was mine for sure. Calhoun. I hate this card. I can't stand it.
This was on my short list, but it did not make my top 10.
You know what? Playing my little, I'm going to call it my little weenie Chromicon deck.
Mm-hmm.
Calhoun was the bane of my existence because one of the things that I'd love to do with that deck was to get ahead in lore and then bounce your characters back and steal tempo. Calhoun gets rid of my characters and gains lore. It negates my tempo every time.
Keeps you right
I
winning with
hate the
them.
card. I hate it. And even when I bounce it back, it only costs 2. It comes right back every time. I hate it. I hate it. I hate it. I hate it. I'm glad it's gone. The problem is
And
I'm
the
losing
resist.
my Chromicon too, so it doesn't matter anymore. So
True.
you know. All right. Follow if you're glad Tramp is gone. Holy moly. I can't follow my own podcast, you know. All right. Here we go. Number 9. Pete. I think we all kind of had this on our list.
Mhm.
This was
yeah.
on my short list, but didn't make my long list. And
Yeah.
I would like to defend that briefly. The reason that this did not make my long list is that I think that they're... Actually, let me verify that it didn't before I say some nonsense.
Oh,
that
don't
I
worry about it.
shouldn't
Just
have
go with it. Nobody knows but us.
No, it didn't. The reason that it didn't is because I think that there is a card that essentially just takes its place.
Okay.
The song that says that you can't play actions.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know how much the body matters. I think the song
I
could
can
fill
tell
in
you,
that gap.
it matters a lot in like the deck I play because I could bounce Pete back if you took one of my characters back and then play him again. I
do
can't
like
bounce an
bodies.
action back, not in my deck, but it mattered to me. But
Yeah.
yeah, he's a hoser. So he's just
Number 3
hoses
body's
people.
kind of big too sometimes.
Yeah, good beater.
I agree
Okay,
with
here we go.
that.
Number 8, you're welcome.
Mm.
I think this goes with another card on our list that, you know,
It
it's
does.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That whole package.
very few cards in the game can remove anything on the board, and this was one of them.
Yeah.
Up until
Location
this,
item.
there's not a lot of... How am I trying to say this? The next set, so attack, introduces more shuffle mechanics than I think we've ever had in the game. This is one of the only cards I can think of that shuffles your deck. Or your
Yeah.
opponent's deck.
That's a
Almost
playable
somebody's
one,
deck.
yeah. I would say, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
So that, I mean, that's a big thing. But also I just think it's one of the most unique removal spells and is a staple in Baja.
It's the closest card we'll have to cards that exist in the game that shall not be named that exile target permanent, which basically say get rid of whatever. It doesn't go to the discard. It
Not
just
in your
goes and
discard.
hides away.
Yep.
It's just it may
Right.
come back, but likelihood
No
is-
spoilers, Rue.
Yeah. Yeah, no, we don't know what's on our list yet. All right, number 7. This was specifically on Jake's list. I almost put it in there. You know,
This
I
would be
think-
on my can't wait for it to leave list.
Yeah, so this is Maui Half Shark. I know a lot of people hate this card.
I hate
This card at one
Yeah.
point, this card was so prevalent, and I think the reason I didn't choose it for mine was because it had kind of gone down in prevalence by now. Not that it lost power, it's just that it wasn't.
Yeah,
as,
I agree, but I
you know.
think that the fact that it's gone is good because I think it would open up so many more avenues and opportunities in the new format with so many new
Mhm.
actions and stuff like that. And I think as it
Yeah.
has depleted a little bit in popularity, it's come back a little bit with the Ruby Blue, Ruby Sapphire actions deck.
Yeah.
I feel like that one's really good. And Infinity too.
It's
So
it's it's
yeah,
alive and well in Infinity, where it
yeah. I mean,
can
it's
Yeah.
take
it's also pretty
eternity.
good in core too. I think that last little set we had
Yeah.
some good
I would
opportunities
agree.
with it. So as a last hurrah.
I can tell you when it hits the board, it is everybody like it doesn't matter what you're looking at with your opponent's board that you think you're going to deal with next turn. The minute they play with Shark, it just nixes all your plans, and you're like, I got to
You
deal with Shark
can't
now.
do much, yeah, because
Yeah.
they're just gonna be able to challenge
Right.
in
Yeah.
afterwards and get something
Yeah.
back, and then the cycle and the combo begins.
Right. And there aren't many cards in the game that are like that, to be honest with you. I mean,
Mhm.
Clarabelle may be one. You know, most cards, they come into play. They have an effect when they come into play. You're done with it. Now it's just a body. But this one has an ongoing torture mechanism that you just got to break free of, you know? And so it's horrible. Shark plus Pirate's life was broken.
Yeah.
That is, hey, tell me you're a dogs player without telling me you're a dogs player, right? You know, so
No,
Any
I
aggro,
wasn't
yeah.
playing. Even when I was playing not dogs, that ruined my life.
Yep. Because you can't quest, you can't challenge or anything because you have a sideways character, and then they can just go. Ugh, hate it. But I love it.
Next, get it off my screen. I'm sick of looking at it.
yeah, I'll leave it up there for a little bit. There we go. Okay, here we go. This card is the next card before we pick on. I'm just going to say I couldn't really pick it because this card has sentimental value to me. You know, and that's Clarabelle. Um, yeah. My friendship with Kawa started over a discussion with this card. And so this card will always, no matter how bad it is in the meta, every time I see it, I'll always be thankful, you know, that, I mean, you guys know how I feel about my friendship with him. And so it's, you know, this card basically what's that. So I couldn't pick it, but you guys go ahead. I understand why it's here. Yeah. You know,
I think if you're building Baja, this is on your list, and for that reason, she's got to go.
yeah.
Got to shake things up.
I always hate shift Clarabelle 5, you're welcome. As soon as they shift Clarabelle, I go, okay, here comes the you're welcome. Or sometimes they sing the you're welcome first and I go, here comes Clarabelle.
Oh no.
Yes, of course it's happening.
Give me a bunch of cards first before then you
Yeah.
deplete all your hand and then draw them all back.
Yeah. I'm like, oh boy, I get a bunch of cards. So does my opponent.
Wait, oh yeah, they do too. After they
And-
just played a big character.
And the chances are that their cards are going to be better than mine because
Oh,
of the point
yeah.
we are in the game, right?
Yep.
So,
Tough. But
So,
yeah,
yeah.
very good. Very good card.
Yeah,
So I feel like
this
it kept
card-
Baja in.
I remember telling him, I said, this card is good. I don't think people realize how good this card is. And then that's about a month later, it started showing up in decks. And it's like, yep. Bye-bye, Clarabelle. All right, here we go. Now we're getting into cards that really aggravate me. Doc. Oh my gosh.
I
Where to
love
start
this
on
card. I
guy?
am so sad to see this card go.
It
But
is
if this isn't the
I'm
definition
torn
of
on
a
it.
sequel, I don't know what is.
I'm so torn on this card right now. So, I mean,
we love it because you
Go ahead,
just draw
Jake.
2 cards.
Next-
No, I think on a body. I think even with the new action coming out too, like we said, even with the P, you have it as an option. The new one is just like the power crept version. It's like, oh, you have this ability now, same thing, but not on the body. With in other instances, you can bounce it back, or you can have other interactions with it, which makes it a little bit better.
I'm looking at Doc like, thanks for the memories. That's how I
Yeah,
feel
that's
about
where
this
I am.
card.
Yeah.
Thanks for the
I-
memories.
I'm
well,
torn
yeah. I
because
played it a lot.
as a Emerald Chromicon player, Doc is the little engine that could. He was part of the engine, right? He was the card draw. It's like 1 drop, 1 drop, 1 drop, Chromicon, a 2 drop, and Doc, right? That's like, you know, that's how replenish your hand. Oh, you're gonna take my 1 drop and banish it, thinking I'm gonna bounce your character back. Nope, I'm bouncing my Doc back to my hand, so I can draw 2 more cards again. You know, I love the card. But then when I sit across from Purple Steel and I'm like, oh, they're low on cards, Doc, or Amber Steel. dock, and of course they
We're
always
getting
dock in the.
raided, Chelsea.
Yeah, they what? By whom?
We're getting raided. Questing Queens.
Oh my gosh.
Hey, we were rated back on like our second stream, and
Yeah.
That's so cool.
this is like
Thank you.
maybe the third time we've been rated. Yoo, Raiders! I've been rated by a party of 4. Hey, welcome to the new folks. I don't know how to handle Raiders because it never happened, but I can tell you if you're new, hey, follow us, man, so you can be here every Tuesday night. So that's all I got to say. We're talking some fun Lorcana stuff here. All right, here we go. All right, some of us are sad to see Doc go. Some of us are not sad to see him go. Some of us are torn to see him go. So
Can't
curious
forget
to
the
see
night
you guys'
tag as
thoughts.
well. With the
What's
7
that?
I
dwarfs
like
mine.
that. I like that Doc is like saluting us in this picture. Like I think that's
I know,
how
right?
Saying goodbye.
we should all be
Later,
approaching him.
Gator. Yeah. Why we have broken his motor? Oh, good gracious! Sometimes I don't know.
That's what I
All
was
right,
saying.
here we go. All right. Number 4 card that's, Genie, right? There was a time when every purple deck had this card in there.
Mhm.
Sabrina, you were the main one that had this card up. I was wishy-washy on this one.
I was also wishy-washy, and this
yeah.
weekend actually sold me on it. A couple weeks ago, I remember saying that I don't think this card is as good as it once was, and it might have been when Whispers came out. I remember thinking there's so many good purple cards. I don't know if this stands the test of time, but it was in every purple deck I saw this weekend. So clearly it had some lasting effect. I think the card draw and the evasive is just too good. And then with with Amber Amethyst being, a lively deck in my area, the 2/4 body that then attacks for 4 when you have Dale out, it's good. He's a good card.
Amethyst. Yeah, and then it replaces itself as well, being invasive. Quest for 2. Yeah, it's good. And
I think
it's continue, Kelsey. Sorry.
No, go ahead, Doe. Go ahead, Jake.
I was just gonna say, it was good for so long, and just being able to have the card as well afterwards, having the body on board, you don't feel like you're behind it all, and then you don't feel bad questing with that every turn as well too, unless they have something.
There was a time when Genie was really had an impact on the game, but I think as we got closer to it rotating out, to echo something that Rue said, he wasn't the threat that he once was on curve anymore, which to me lessened his impact on the game. And while everybody still played it, to me, when I was looking at my criteria, like, I can't really say I'm glad to see it go, because for the most part, he was already gone in my mind because he didn't have the impact that he once did. Not that he didn't have an impact, but I guess when you start off as strong as that card started off, there's nowhere to go but downhill, right? And so to me, it kind of was like already, it wasn't the problem that it once was, but I see the choice. All right, now we're getting into the controversial ones, because here it goes, right? I'm surprised that this wasn't number 1 on our list. And that's Tramp. This card.
He was almost number 1 for me.
He was almost number 1 for me too. I had another card that I actually hate more.
He just wasn't quite the staple as much as the 2 other cards I had.
Yes. That's fair. Okay. Yes, it is locked behind a dueling color, so you do have to play the dogs to play this card. But doesn't mean that it wasn't the most popular and best deck in both formats. But yeah, this card is just too good. Being able to have it played basically for free in a meta like it is now, and being able to cycle through basically not all your deck, but the majority of what you want to see.
This card is my arch nemesis after this weekend.
A big body, it's good.
I hate crutch cards. Cards that like your deck is a decent deck, right? But this is the crutch you lean on to bail you out of bad decisions. So it was such a good crutch. I'm like, look, let's just take the crutch card out and let you deal with the consequences of your bad decisions and play your way out of it, rather than have this card save you every freaking time.
I don't think this card has ever once bailed me out of a bad decision. If anything, it's told me, go fend for yourself. Sink or
cause you
swim,
to make
girlfriend.
more.
Sink or swim.
Yeah, right. You're like, of the 8 cards I got, I can't figure out which one's the good one to make the best decision on,
Literally.
right? Yeah,
True.
okay.
It does require a lot more thinking, I guess, in a standpoint like that. It does bring out a better player sometimes, but you go from like 2 cards in your hand, you draw 6, and then you just end with the best 2. That's
Yeah.
filter
For nothing, right?
for
That's the
nothing.
part
For
that
yeah,
always bothered.
grandmother
Like
roll
if
helps
this
you out too.
card, if you took away the first ability on this card, I could deal with the card, honestly. Even if it had
Yeah.
shift, I would deal with it
True.
because you still have to pay some price to get what you want. Anytime you can get something that costs 0, that's an aggravating card. Olaf with all the actions that you can put into this card is one.
Mhm.
Some of these characters that come down to 0 with multiple like willows on the board or whatever, stuff that makes stuff cost 0 is, it's to me, it's just got to watch out for, right?
That's
Has
bad.
tendency to make for bad play experience for the opponent. Okay, we gotta keep moving.
Yeah.
This was my number 1 card on the list. I make sure my daughter's not around to see it. Okay, all right. Elsa. So Elsa Fistfear. I'm going every time I'm playing against a purple deck. How much ink they got? Okay, Elsa's coming down next turn. Elsa's coming down
Yep.
next. I
Might as
say
well clash because
90% of
getting
purple
exerted.
matches that was true. So, I just try not to be predictable. This card it was like, and it's like, even though it's coming, you're like, well, crap, I got to play around this next turn,
Yep.
so.
And whenever it did its challenging, it usually survived, and then it had to deal with a pretty large evasive body on the field as well too.
Yeah.
I don't know why this wasn't on my list. I think that I thought this was reprinted and it wasn't.
No, good thing it's not. Bye-bye. All right,
Well,
here we go.
I like this card.
Let's do our last card that we're happy to see go. And Sabrina, they're both on Sabrina's. Sabrina, I put them together. Okay.
That's how I view them. So that works for
Okay,
me.
so, and
view them
I
a little
agree with
differently.
her. I agree with her. Here we go. Tipo and Sale. It's like, when you think of playing Sapphire, this is the first 8
They're
cards you choose.
the first 8, exactly.
First 8 cards you choose, right? So if you're playing Sapphire and you're not choosing them, I don't think you're playing the right Sapphire. So, so anyways, it'd be interesting to see what we do to replace this. And the thing that I like about it is that that's going out is ramp still exists, but maybe ramp takes place on a turn other than turn 2.
Ramp is very different moving forward, in my opinion.
Yep.
I always thought after rotation it would be on 3, but I'm not sure.
I think it's 4.
Could be.
I mean, we still have 1 jump and we still have Detective Mickey. So there is ramp on 2 and 3. It's just not good ramp.
Yeah.
True.
It's not consistent either, right? So you only have 1 jump, which is 4 cards, versus these guys, which is 8 cards. So your chances of hitting it are greatly reduced, right? It's not as consistent.
You can't rely on it then.
Right. And it's uninkable. And so is Detective Mickey, which is the other problem, because if you get them, late and don't need them, they're just dead cards.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. Extra read all about it. Local dogs player hates everything but dogs. Okay. Yeah. Sorry, I was reading chat. Okay. All right. We're running out of time. We got to hit our other list. Okay. Here we go. All right. So now let's talk about the cards that we think are getting better. Let's be real quick with these so we can hit our time frame here. And so these are cards that now they get a chance to shine. Maybe they're already shining a little bit, but they'll shine a little bit more because of cards that are rotating.
They were cards. For me, I want to put my caveat out there. These are cards that the ones that I picked were cards that we're not seeing play.
In other words, they already sucked and they're not going to suck anymore.
They are like not great cards, and I think they get a second life now.
From the
I just want to be clear.
Now Sabrina saying that, Jake I think was the opposite almost. I'm looking at his list.
I
did
have a few good ones on there.
Yeah, okay.
I did. Yeah, well, I mean, in certain instances, these good cards potentially could get better, and I think that some of the other cards that are being printed next set help out even more and make them the new staples than even now.
My criteria was I felt these were cards that would see more play. Not necessarily they were better, but they would get played more. Maybe they're filling a hole or something that one of those cards rotated out, left behind, or whatever. It was just, I expect to see more of these cards, right? All right, here we go. Jake, pick Jack Par. Go ahead, Jake.
Ooh, it's mostly just because I want a location deck to be so much better now, or at least some sort of iteration of a location deck. And I think if we did,
Fair enough.
being able to banish on a character like this, flipping that over, I think that's pretty good. Or even being
Okay.
able to get +2 is
All
pretty
right.
good too.
Next card, both Sabrina and I picked Ursula, voice dealer. So I think Sabrina
It
picked this as
exerts a
well too.
character on 5.
Yeah, exerts a character on 5 and plays a song for free if you got it. That's less than that character's
I
cost.
wasn't even reading that far. It exerts a
Yeah.
character on 5.
Yeah. So now, thankfully, she doesn't have rush, so she's not a complete replacement of Elsa on turn
True.
5. But yeah.
No, but there's plenty of times that people were exerting with Elsa and not attacking with her.
Right.
So I felt like this
Attacking with
may
something
have
else.
a place.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I agree. Number next, Scrooge McDuck, Shush Agent. So I like this card in my Chronicon deck. I know how powerful he can be. Jake, specifically, this was on your list, so I'll let you talk to him.
Yeah. Well, Filtinger is always really good, and especially in some green nowadays. I think discard is also really helpful too. If you're running a green steel, being able to have some of those actions and some of those cards which you can be able to play from your discard, I think that that's really cool and a nice low cost card too.
I always love when my opponent just doesn't think about it and challenges him, and they go, "Why are you putting it back in your hand?" Because that's what
Yeah, but it's also
to do.
it's recurable too. So you have the filter and the discard, but then it comes back and you do it again.
Good card. Good card.
Yeah.
All right, Isis Vanderchill. I played around with this card. I felt like it would get better. My only knock on this card was that it didn't have rush, and I've played games against it where people have come in and exerted my character and hadn't really been able to do anything about it, but they just wanted to get the 4/4 body on the board. But it does have potential, I think, to get better. So
I agree. It does exert, which I think a lot of people needed. The uninkability kind of stinks. The 4/4 body is pretty good, but being able to have the Cheshire Cat and the exert, like I think that's pretty big as a combo next set. And then also being able to play Ruby Amethyst. I think that Boo that you have, like it's the 0/1 that can banish a 3-cost character. Being able to play an Isis on 4 after you used Boo to banish something and then it stays on board because it doesn't take damage from the challenge, and then being able to use Isis and then get more value out of that. There's some combos with it that I'm thinking of, and I think a little bit
sounds like
5.
a deck tech episode from Jake there.
Oh yeah. Oh, I'm here for it, Ruby Am.
This didn't make my list because it's already seeing play.
Yep. Next one's a card that I picked. I think Sven is really powerful. And I think now with Elsa out, he's really going to get a chance to shine. Especially, I feel like Dumbo, which is not on our list, but Dumbo is going to be more prevalent. It's already pretty prevalent, but I think Dumbo is going to kind of come back to the forefront since it's not a threat to be taken out by Elsa as much anymore. And I think this is a card we're going to eventually need in order to deal with it. So, yeah, just my thoughts.
Already seeing play. I never realized that Sven's antlers looked like icicles, though.
This Jake guy knows what's up. Hey, also love the Beatles title. I tried to get us to sing Limitless One. I tried to get us to sing the Beatles song, but I was told since it was a Disney song, we couldn't do it. So
I
didn't say couldn't. I said shouldn't.
Shouldn't? Okay.
I said shouldn't.
Whatever.
I couldn't.
Semantics. All right. There we go. All right. Number next. My numbers may be off. Maybe I'm not sure.
Yeah.
Cinderella. Resource for traveler. Sabrina, go ahead.
I'm heavy on this card. So the ability itself lets you ink. When she quests, if you played another character, you can ink the top card of your deck. But what I also like about this card is that it works really well with the uninkable 4-drop Cinderella that says if you've played a princess this turn, you can ink a card to draw a card. So I think together they work really well.
What about with Aurora even too? And you can play a turn earlier, and then you can get that, play something on 4.
Yeah.
And then get the quest off.
Yeah. I just think this is. I had a couple ramp cards on my list, and this was the one I felt the best about.
Jake, do you have chat up? You should take a screenshot.
Yeah. Getting so much love.
Have your moment, right? My little ray of sunshine. All right. Here we go. All right.
That's me.
Oh, you started now. Now they've started something. This is about
no.
Jake and his smile now, right? So, this is great. Okay, John Silver.
Ooh.
Speaking of smile, look at the smile on this cat. John
Scary.
Silver. I put this card on my list. I think did anybody else have it on theirs? I'm not sure. Um,
But I had a little
I think
location synergy too.
yeah, I think with there's kind of some new locations coming out, so I think people are going to revisit playing John Silver. Um, he's tough to deal with a lot of locations. That's all I gotta say. I like
Yeah.
the next pick. It wasn't mine, but I say kudos to my podcast mate for picking it. Mother Knows Best. Return chosen character to their player's hand. I think that was you, Sabrina, that picked that.
Yeah, I think with You're Welcome out, this is the only card the only card in green that I could think of that does kind of the same thing, where that it can also benefit you if you want to bounce something of your own. So, and this was a staple early days of Lorcana, so I think
Yeah.
It was, yeah.
I think it's ready
Was
for
it
the
set
spotlight
one?
again.
Yeah.
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 Good old Mother
But-
Knows Best on the back of a Cheshire cat. So,
Oh my
Yeah.
gosh.
Yeah.
those
Now,
are the
well, I
good old
mean,
days.
and
Mhm.
bounce with boost is such a different there's such a different take when you play the bounce cards while you have a boost card or while your opponent has a card boosted. So yeah, I think this could see return to play.
Agreed.
Yeah, there was a lot of matches I saw very stally with a lot of boost underneath characters. Just one of those would
Mhm.
probably just
Disrupts
swallow me
everything.
completely. Yep. Yeah.
Next card, Jake picked this one, Spooky Sight.
Mhm.
I agree. I think it's a good pick. I didn't pick
I
it,
think
but when I saw it, I go, yep, that's right. Go ahead.
certain board wipes I think are very important, especially against aggro. Being able to play some of your ramp early on in Sapphire to be able to play this, I guess, earlier than 6 is pretty important, especially against the new dogs, which is toys. I think that might
Mhm.
be a deck that becomes pretty popular, so this would be a pretty big staple against that. And I love the
I
art.
tell you why this card is good, right? We still have Undersea. A lot of the removal that we have focuses on characters with 2 strength or less. And so a lot of decks these days are getting around that by playing characters with 3 strength or more. So a lot of that removal is a lot less effective than it used to be. Like Undersea, 2 or less. What's the red one? Grab your bow, strength 2 or less. Firefly Swarm, strength 2 or less, right? And so now you have a card that says, I don't really care about the strength factor. I'm going for the
Just the
cost
whole
of your
cost.
character, right? So now those Scrooge McDucks that are boosted beyond infinity can go away, and your Cheshire Cats, and things like that. I think is a good choice because as those more focused removals become prevalent, people react to them, and now you need a replacement. And to me, that's what this is. So, yeah. Good call.
Yeah, whether you play something on 1, 2, 3, or even just multiple early, yeah, good.
Yeah. The next one's on my list. It's already seen a lot of play, but I think it's going to be really, really good. And that's Pete.
Ooh.
Dropping this guy, boosting him, and then, questing and filtering, boosting him again, look at 2 cards, keep on. When I'm playing decks that can remove him right away, I usually do because I cannot afford for my opponent to be looking for stuff that they need to beat me. I don't like it. And the longer he hangs around, the better he gets. So, the next card is my card as well too. I don't think it's had its chance to shine, but I think that time is soon. Now is soon to be here, and that's Max Goof. When you play this character, you may pay 1 to return a song card with cost 3 or less from your discard to your hand. I think Max is going to get a chance now. So I know I'm working on it. So that's all I can say. The last 2 came off Sabrina's list. So Sabrina, you get to talk to him. I was interested in this one. Like I saw your list and I was like, this Colors of the Wind. Well, actually, the number 1 card was on my list too.
I'm teaming with Colors of the Wind.
So let me say something real quick. This was Sabrina's number 1 card, but because I also had the number 2 card on my list, this one jumped over as our group number 1. And no pun intended, I gave a card away. But all right, here we go. Why this one, Sabrina?
So we're getting a card this set that lets you play other colors in your deck, which means a 6-card deck, a 6-color deck.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, a 2-color deck that plays all 6 colors
Yeah.
will be legal in core.
But you won't get to draw all 6 colors on this card.
There, I can draw 3 or 4.
You draw 2, maybe 3.
You can only draw
What?
up to 2.
What if I'm playing
Yeah.
a 2-color card and they're
Oh.
playing and they do
Yeah.
a 2-color card?
Yeah,
Well, there you
3.
go.
Oh,
4.
no.
We're playing max of 4 right now. Max of 4.
Yeah,
I
'cause they have
think
a
this
dual link,
card
we
is
have a dual
getting
link.
better.
All right.
Better than it was.
Fair. I would agree.
Good thing you established your criteria before we started. So. All right. Last card, which I think is our. I kind of gave it away in a way. One jump ahead. It's back. You thought it was gone away, but it's back.
That is
So
the ramp.
that's the ramp. I think Sapphire. Whether or not it's a better choice, it will be the choice until another one is found. To kind of move. Sabrina.
This song you can sing.
Uh-huh. Go ahead. Sorry. Sabrina sent me a private chat, and I
Do
broke
not read
I broke
that.
the fourth wall. I'm
Do
sorry.
not read that.
I'm not. Nothing to see here. Move along. Let's jump to this
Can
card.
you sing this? Can you sing this on 2 with any other card?
Yes.
A 1 drop that you
Angel.
play that you
Yes.
then sing.
Angel.
Angel. Yeah, Angel can sing it.
Yes.
Yes.
And I was saying that before with the Amber and the Sapphire with the Princess. with
Actually,
Aurora
more
with
than
the Cinderella,
Angel.
maybe?
Any of the cards in that series can sing it. You actually don't need Angel. Because you
You
don't
need-
need the singer ability. You just need the fact that
Right.
it's
Underdog.
converted. It's
Oh,
Cost
technical
two,
cost
right? Yeah.
two.
Okay, that's
Yeah.
a good idea.
Right.
That's a good thought too.
And of
could do
course
it
you
with
can-
your,
You can shift. There's cards that shift on 2 that can sing it as well.
or any of the shifts. Yeah, true.
Yeah. So yeah, there you go. Yeah, and this card too, because it's a song, it can be sung. It is unequal, which is what a lot of people didn't like about it. And
Yeah.
but unlike Tipo, right? Tipo and Sale were kind of interesting, right? One got you an extra card, and to put it down, one ripped a card out of your hand, and so there were certain scenarios when one was better than the other, right? And so this card is like, well, we're going to just get it off the top of your deck, and you don't get to look at it. It is what it is. You'll never know what card is going in your inkwell. Yeah, I mean, I won't say you never know, but there is a mystery there. It jacks with people who keep track of their cards, which is one reason why I fell out of favor when Sale Tipo came around. So
You know what's going where.
Yeah.
That's
so all right. That's our list for tonight. We are a little bit over on time, but I'm going to finish this up. Next week's Toys the New Dogs.
I was just saying it.
Oh, I almost like regurgitated in my mouth when I read that. I'm sorry. Sorry.
It's coming.
Yeah, I can't do that. All right, hold on. We got to play our game tonight. So don't look at the screen. Okay, you can look at the screen. All right, here's our card for the night for Jake and Sabrina. If they can figure out what does this card do. This is
Just look at this
Pluto,
card.
Vigilant Traveler. He has a 2-cost
gosh.
Amber card, 1/4. Jake or Sabrina, do you know what this card does? It does come from the last set we just had, Wilds Unknown, so it should be pretty fresh. Don't be looking. I see you like, let me type real fast so I can figure out this card on Dreamborn.
No, I have no idea what this card does.
What? I got you finally.
I want to say it has Bodyguard, but I'm not sure about that.
Don't say that.
12. This is from Wilds Unknown.
So I picked this card because actually I had this card on my initial list of cards that I think will get better and may actually see play because of decks that
Your
are coming.
honorable mention.
Yeah. And so I said, well, I didn't really want it on the list, but I didn't want to also kind of exclude it. So I used it for this. All right. So what does this card do? I'm glad you asked. The quest for 1, whenever this character quests, if you played another character this turn, chosen opposing character gets -1 until the start of your next turn. 1/4 bodies on turn 1 or 2 are tough to get rid of. And this one really makes it even tougher for other characters to get rid of it because it reduces their strength, and so you can't just run into it, right? And with the new cards coming out in the set, like I believe Amber Aggro is a thing again, and I think this card could probably fit in there as a good 2-drop. Just my thoughts, but I think it'll get better. It doesn't fit in the toy thing, right? Because Jesse kind of fills that role.
Yeah,
and
I think so.
maybe
more.
Mickey later. But on turn 2, that's a good place to put this ability, you know. So, anyways,
I like it.
it's a good card. I kind of I
Mhm.
slipped this into the list unofficially, right? So,
Right.
yeah.
See it
All
some
right.
way.
Before we go, I gotta do my thing, right? Give a shout out to the folks at Matified, man. You guys got to go check out their site and check out their mats. You get custom mats made. If you want something foiled out that's not on there, reach out to them. They work something out with you. Great guys. We do not get money from them. I just think they're wonderful. And until the day this stream dies, or I do, so this will get plugged at the end of our podcast. You guys go see them. They're good people. Parting shots from either one of you before we go.
Ooh, get ready because not next week, but I guess technically next week the next set comes out. Yeah, the end
Yeah,
of
next week will be our top 10 for attack.
It will? Okay. I know what we're doing next week. All right. So,
There we
I
go.
assume that's what we do every time.
yeah, right. That's great. All right. Jake, your fans are excited to see you next week. So,
Of course, I'll be back. Don't worry.
Yeah. We should be
Not
back
going
next
anywhere.
week. If not, we'll let you guys know. The reason we may not be back, just to be honest with you, I haven't told my podcast mates yet, but my work is up in the air where I'm going to be next week. So everybody's heard it live.
If we're not back, we will publish our top 10 lists for attack pre-release written on our Facebook. So give us a follow there.
Mhm.
Ooh. We actually going to
Because
use
we gotta
social
get the
media.
list out.
Man,
Yeah, I
Post
think
it
it's
on there
important.
instead.
I think it's important to get those lists out before release so we can look back on it. So
It
yeah,
made me cry.
We can go back and be like, oh, I was right.
I want to have a moment. That's right. We have a Facebook page. Please go follow it if you want to keep up. We do post the stream on there every night. Chat with us on there. Can they chat with us on our page? Do we let people post there?
I believe they can comment. I don't know that I have discussions open, but they can definitely comment. I documented Jake and I's entire trip to Indy on there. So definitely give us a follow.
Cool.
Yeah.
Yep. Hey, we're trying. We just have
A little
fun, right? So thank you all for joining us here tonight. I appreciate every one of you. I appreciate the liveliness in the chat. It makes it more fun for us as we go along. You guys are just a big part of this as we are. I appreciate it. And if anybody wants to start an unofficial Jake fan club, then let me know. I'll get it going. So talk to y'all later. Bye-bye.
Thanks, see ya.
Bye.